Hey-de-ho, everybody. Really? Hey there, chocolate muffins. It's me, Cleo from Games Are for Fight. And as you can tell, I just got back from a week excursion to VidCon 2013, which was actually my very first visit to VidCon, but I think it's the 4th VidCon overall. And overall, it was a good experience, but I do admit that there were some things about VidCon that I was a little disappointed in, and so I decided I would do a top 5 changes that I think would make for a better VidCon. Just a disclaimer, there might very well be some of this stuff already in place at VidCon, I just didn't find out about it, which in itself is maybe a problem, that this stuff should be more accessible. And you know, if you had a completely different experience with VidCon and you think that my points are completely not salient and I'm talking off my rocker here, then please leave a comment and let me and everybody else know. Anyway, ramble, preamble, blah 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 blah. Alright, so, number 5. Make VidCon longer. It is technically 3 days, counting Industry Day, 2 Community Days, and then Disney Day, although Disney Day isn't really part of VidCon. Already, there's so many problems of there being so many things that I want to see, but they're all at the same time, and it kind of felt like a lot of the stuff that was at the same time was in the same vein. It was just very frustrating. It felt like they didn't really put that much planning into what events overlapped with what. Basically, number 5 is just make the con longer, you know? I think you've got enough big YouTubers involved and you've got enough content that you could afford to make it like 4 days, or at least 3 community days and 1 industry day. And the whole community industry thing is another thing, is actually my next point, number 4. Lower the industry price or make something that's like in between, because I bought the community one because I didn't even know about VidCon until they were already sold out of industry, and also because, what is it, $450 for an industry pass? That's a lot of money. I already spent several $100s just getting to VidCon, and I live driving distance away from Anaheim, so I shudder to imagine people that came from across the country, like Faith, to improve their channels, you know? That's a serious commitment, but it doesn't mean that I'm not serious about trying to help my channel because I can't afford a $400, $450, whatever, industry pass. Now, I think industry, and I haven't been to any industry events, so I can't say for certain, but I think industry is sort of supposed to be for like the big companies that are kind of taking over YouTube, that want to, you know, have their very well-funded TV shows and stuff like that on YouTube. I can totally understand charging people like that much money, but then there's people like me where, you know, I'm going to VidCon, or my main purpose for going to VidCon was to meet other YouTubers, was to learn things that would help my channel get out of obscurity. Whereas the Community Pass, it kind of felt more like it was just, come meet your favorite YouTubers. It wasn't like, you know, it wasn't geared towards creators, it was geared towards fans. And so it kind of sucks that there's like nothing in between meet your favorite YouTubers and pay all this money to learn how to push your brand amongst all these other very high-earning, high-expense type channels. You know, something in between would be nice. Point 3, improve the phone app, add more signage and announcements. So I am very sad that I actually missed Mika Kitty's performance on the outdoor stage, because I was kind of going by the phone app, mostly because they already changed stuff out of the program in the phone app, but the phone app never updated to say that they changed the time of her performance. The original thing was that she was going to go on at like 7 or 8 or something like that, and she ended up going on much earlier. And it was funny because I was hanging out with Faith in the Hilton lobby waiting for her to go up, and then I saw her walk past, well, run past because she was being besieged by adoring fans, but I like skipped after her and I was like, when's your performance? And she's like, I just finished. And I was like, what? So that was very upsetting. One thing that Anime Expo has done, even though Anime Expo has a lot of problems with how they run their convention, one thing that they do that's really nice is every morning they print out schedule changes and they hand it out to everybody that needs it, so that, you know, you have an accurate representation right there of the changes. So really try to avoid rescheduling things. I mean, I know that YouTubers are late or they don't show up and stuff like that, and that really sucks, but the onus should be on them. It shouldn't be on the people that are, you know, trying to get their schedule to acclimate to what is available at that convention. Number 4, better panel organization overall. This is kind of a blanket thing, but basically, of the panels that I went to, some of them were really kind of informally laid out, which would be fine if it was a smaller convention, but VidCon's getting more and more people, and you know, when you have a room full of people, it's kind of crazy to just be like, oh, let's just call on people who raise their hands or whatever. Something that a lot of conventions do is they'll have a mic set up right in the middle aisle, and then people go up and they try to ask questions. Now that can also have problems because you either run into the problem of everybody running to get to the mic and tripping over each other, in which case I would say, you know, enforce the no running rule, and you'd sometimes have people that, like, for some reason won't leave the mic. Like, I don't think they're aware of how much they're talking. But you have the same problem with hand calling, and actually it's even worse because they can just keep yelling. I mean, I don't really want to call names, but some of the panels I went to, there was like 1 or 2 people in the audience that took up almost the entire panel, just blah 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 blah. And then I guess my last point is really the biggest kind of disappointment that I had in my VidCon experience. I really wish I had water on hand because I'm like choking, but anyway. As I mentioned before, I think that VidCon, maybe it started out as more towards the creators, but I feel like now, unless you can afford an industry pass, it's really just sort of meet your favorite YouTuber, and by meet, I mean like talk to them for 10 seconds, get a signature, and then leave. You know, I'm not going to get in a huge rant about it, but YouTube has become very corporate, and I mean, there's very big YouTube stars that'll say this themselves, but the focus of content creators first is really kind of falling under the corporate machines because corporate machines are more profitable. VidCon is supposed to be a convention for video, you know, video makers, video fans, or whatever. It would be nice to see more emphasis on the video makers than the video fans. A couple of things that I think would really help with that, with VidCon, are just more opportunities for collaboration and for meetups between channels that are, you know, not super famous. Content creators who are not super famous. I mean, I went to the Collaboration Right Now panel, and that was interesting, but that really wasn't helpful to smaller channels. It was just like, oh, be on camera for 10 seconds. Not even. Be on camera for half a second. That really doesn't help my channel. I think it would be great if there were events or maybe meetups or something like that that was just for people of a similar channel. You know, like schedule a thing where you know, a panel where there probably won't be big YouTubers, because if there is a big YouTuber, it's just going to turn into a fan panel. But just have a panel where content creators who want to work with others can go up there, introduce themselves, introduce introduce themselves, introduce their channels, what kind of videos they make, and what kind of collaborations they're looking for. And then, you know, basically have people sit around and just have like a mingling where you can go up to people and, you know, be like, hey, you do game stuff, I do game stuff, let's collaborate, you know. Something like that would just be amazing. Another idea is maybe have like a board or something like that near the front where people get their badges, where you have like a little thing and you fill it out and you're like, my name is that, my channel is blah, you know, my channel is about blah. And maybe have a volunteer that like checks it to make sure it's not like profane and then sticks it up on the wall. And then people can look at the wall and maybe organize it by like genre, you know, like, oh, these are gaming channels, these are vlog channels, these are comedy channels. And then, you know, when you walk by, you can look at the board and be like, oh, hey, look, those are some blah, 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 blah. Hey, that guy, you know, does videos that sound almost exactly like mine. He would be great to collaborate with. You know, that'd be great. And then the final idea I had in regards to this is a forum. I mean, maybe there is a forum for VidCon. I didn't really look for it. And if there is, I apologize for this misinformation. But a lot of conventions have pretty thriving forums. And I think it would be great if VidCon had a forum with various meetups where people talk about like their channels. See, when I say people mention their channels, I mean in a collaborative format, not in a like advertising format, because I think the problem that a lot of people run into, and actually this was kind of touched on in the diversity panel that I went to, is a lot of people look at YouTube as a competition instead of as a potential for collaboration. You know, they look at other YouTubers, especially YouTubers who are more successful than them, as like a threat rather than like, hey, look, they're doing well, so maybe I can do well too. It doesn't have to be a competition. It can be considered collaborative. You know, try to keep a good attitude, try to be nice, even though you're upset that someone else is doing so much better than you. Try not to be the green-eyed demon and just look at it as a potential friendship instead of a, you know, arch rival or whatever. So like a forum, sorry, trying to bring it back to my point. This video is probably going to be like so long and nobody's going to watch it. Oh well. Try to make it a a place where people can share what they're looking for and maybe even find it. Anyway, so those are basically my top 5 things that I think would really improve VidCon. To re-summarize, make VidCon longer, lower the industry price or come up with something that's in between industry and community, improve the phone app, add more signage, etc., better panel organization, and facilitate collaborations. So I'm really interested if anyone did actually watch this video. If you did go to VidCon, what were your experiences? Were you satisfied, or were you also kind of disappointed in it? Like, were you expecting something different? I do want to give a couple shout outs to some of the YouTubers that I did talk to. I briefly saw Tobuscus and I got him to sign my thing. Toby. I feel weird calling them by their channel names, but that's what most people know them by. I did see Sxephil, or Phil DeFranco, Sxephil, and he was really nice even though he was like surrounded by people. So I just like very briefly got a picture and then I ran because I didn't want to like be one of those people that's just like I talked to Cater17 a lot, which I feel kind of bad about because she was like talking to everybody else, but she was really nice and it was really cool to talk to her. And I also talked to Seth Hendricks quite a bit, and he's a really cool guy. Like, I met him last year at the Toby Games live thing. He was like the host, and I thought right away, like, this guy's really cool. So if you've never heard of him, you know, I'll put all their links in the description, and you know, you should go check them out because especially like Caters and Seth, they've been on YouTube for a long time, and they're good. They're core content, and there's a lot on YouTube that you can find. You do have to hunt a little more since YouTube keeps reorganizing and kind of pushing corporate stuff to the top, but there's still plenty of good, you know, normal person user created content. You just have to search for it. Alright, so that's about it. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna stop talking now. By the way, if you're wondering what I'm wearing, this is the VidCon shirt that you get for the price of your thing, and this is actually this is small. So I don't know. And then this is the cape that they were giving away for YouTube Geek Week, which is actually going on right now. You can Google it if you're really curious about it. Oh, and the swag was kind of interesting. Like, we got like sunglasses and then a tongue cleaner, and there's some free makeup and stuff, so that was nice. Alright, I'm gonna go now. Leave a comment, tell me how your VidCon experience was, or if you weren't able to go to VidCon, tell me what you would hope to get out of VidCon if you can go, like next year or sometime in the future. And that's about it. Bye!